Okay, so today we're doing the second part. We're going to be using combinations to find probabilities. So it's really important today that you figure out the difference between permutations and combinations. So what is a combination? So let's go back to thinking about the baseball team. Imagine there are 60 possible lineups when considering 5 players for 3 spots. What if order didn't matter, and the coach only cares if players are actually in the lineup? A selection of objects in which order is not important is called a combination. So how is that different from a permutation? Order doesn't matter. So for example, Angie Beth Cora, these are all the same possibility. So in a combination, we would only count this as 1, not as 3 separate. In a permutation, we would count it as 3 separate. So let's look at an example. Here is your formula for combinations, and again, I will give this to you on an exam or quiz. So a group of 4 seniors, 5 juniors, and 7 sophomores have volunteered to be on a fundraising committee. Mr. Davidson needs to choose 12 students out of the group. How many ways can the 12 students be chosen? Okay, so the same thing here. We need to figure out what our N is, the number of objects, and R, the number that we're going to use at a time. So we've got 4 seniors, 5 juniors, and 7 sophomores. That's a total of how many students? It's 16 students. And we need to choose 12 students to be on this volunteer fundraising committee. Okay, so we've got N is 16 and R is 12. So we plug that into our formula. We've got 16 divided by 16 minus 12 times 12. And we're just going to type that into our calculators. Now when you're doing this, make sure you use parentheses appropriately. If you're going to type in exactly what is written here, you need another set of parentheses right here after the division symbol. So when you type that all in, we should get an answer of 1,820 ways students can be chosen. Always make sure to label your final answer. Okay, let's try another example. Jacinda is packing for her vacation to the mountains. With all her heavy snow gear, she only has room for 4 more outfits to wear. If she has 7 different outfits laid on the bed, how many ways can the 4 outfits be chosen? So remember, we need to think, does the order matter? Well, she's going to take the outfit with her either way. We just want to be able to take it with us. Doesn't matter if it's the first thing we put in our suitcase or the 4th thing we put in our suitcase. So this is a combination. Order does not matter. So we need to figure out what N is and what R is. We have 7 total possible outfits, and we're going to choose 4. So we plug it into our formula. 7 factorial, 7 minus 4 factorial, times 4 factorial. And now we type that into our calculators to find out. And after you've typed it in, make sure you get it correct. The answer should be 35 possible sets of outfits. Okay? Alright, so let's go on to trying to identify things as a permutation or a combination. It can be difficult, but remember, order is our key here. So in letter A it says, during a fire drill, a teacher checks the students in her row to see if everyone is present. Does it matter if they're in a certain order? No, it just matters if they are present. So this is a combination. Why don't you try B and C on your own, push pause, and then go ahead and check to see if you got them right. Okay, letter B. In preparing for a competition, a tennis coach lists his players in order of ability. Does the order matter? You bet it matters. The first person is the best, and the last person is the worst. So the order in which you're placed is really important. That's a permutation. How are we going to remember which one order matters in? Well, for me, I know that O is right next to P, and so order is a permutation. Okay? Because I will label those equations as the permutation and as the combination, and you know which one is the one you use for order and which one's the one you don't use for non-order. Okay, letter C. A teacher assigns, oh, we got a double word here. A teacher assigns the order of 5 students who are giving a presentation today. Identify the situation as a permutation or a combination. What do you guys think? Well, I think that this problem is not specific enough. Yes, it says order in the problem, so technically it should probably be permutation. And yes, sometimes it matters, you want to go first or you want to go last, and it's easier then. But the other thing I thought about as I was reading this problem is the ones that don't go today. Do we care if we go today or if we go tomorrow? Probably. So then does order matter? I don't know. But in general, if you see that word order, it's a permutation. I will make sure to be super clear on the questions I ask you. Okay, so to wrap up then, you got a couple homework questions. The first chunk is identifying whether it's a permutation or a combination. And then the last chunk, those could be permutations or combinations. So make sure you read carefully before you answer and use which equation you're going to use.